Hi, everybody out there. My name is Alice Mpofu-Coles. I'm a specialist ambassador for the Female Wave of Change. I live in the UK and I joined Female Wave of Change, I think, when it started, and I was introduced to it by Saskia, who lives in Netherlands. So this month of May, Female Wave of Change has chosen to do the well-being and wellness. So I'm going to talk about it, specifically bringing in my book that I've recently launched on Sunday, which is called Dear God, from Your Poached Egg Breast, as you can see. So it's now on Amazon. Why I've chosen to talk about this book is because it has everything to do with me surviving breast cancer and how I managed to navigate my life in a country where I'd come as a refugee and then diagnosed with breast cancer in 2007. And it was so aggressive that I had to find a way of trying to live better. I had two legal children with me, and I had nobody to look after me. I did establish a lot of friendship with other people around Amnesty International and Reading Refugee Support Group, an organization that I've supported for a long time. And through that group, that's how I met Saskia. So during the cancer treatments, the chemotherapy was terrible. It made me develop a lot of things, sicknesses and all that, and my body was rejecting a lot of things. And it was a very difficult time for me. And that time I stayed at home and wasn't working. So this is the time I reflected on a lot of things. And I started writing to God about how I felt deep down. And this brought in memories of pain, of losing my family within a space of 13 years. Up to 2002, I'd lost my mom, my dad, my four brothers who had died before the age of 45, and I'd lost a husband also. So it was quite a difficult time. My children were very young when my husband died. And the time when I was sitting down in hospitals, going through chemo, going through radiation, going through the operation, and everything, is the time I reflected. And every time I carried a journal, I was writing about my feelings to God. I was very angry about everything that was happening. So I gave up. I honestly gave up, because I just knew that that was the route that I was going to go through, like what had happened to all my family. I'm the last born of 5 children, and I'm the only girl. So I thought to myself, well, this is the way I'm going to. I just turned 43 with young children. One was in primary, one had just started high school. Very difficult in a foreign country. So I wouldn't wish chemotherapy on my worst enemy, because it's terrible. And I had that. And I had steroids, and I had radiotherapy, and I had an operation that lasted almost the whole day. By the time I woke up, it was 12 midnight, and I had been in surgery since 9 in the morning. And things were really difficult for me. And I don't know how I managed, but I had a good friend of mine who came to stay with me for a while, for a month, and she works for UN, and she came here, Ruth, to stay with me. And one day she woke up and told me I wasn't dying of cancer. I was actually dying of thoughts. My mind was doing a lot of hard work. I had had a lot of problems locally with other things that had happened to people that I call my own community also. So those things, Zimbabwe community, so those things were also affecting me, and losing my family and just giving up. So she really kicked me and told me, I need to sort myself for the sake of my children. I've always been a very good, healthy eater. I've always, when I was young, I was really very tiny. And my mom used to say, probably I've got worms. But my mind was playing up quite a lot, and that had to kill me one way or the other. I had to sort myself out. Besides being a social worker, qualified social worker, I couldn't heal myself. I knew about all these mental health problems. I worked in a psychiatric hospital. I'd worked with people with mental health, but I couldn't heal myself. So I started sorting myself at a day when one day I woke up at 3 a.m. in the morning and just wanted to end my life because I couldn't manage. Most of the time the chemo paralyzed me and I had to struggle to go to the toilet, struggle just to hug my kids. I was literally in tears most of the time, and I thought the best thing is just to end it. Maybe my kids are better off without a mom like me. And after all, this is my destination. This is what God has said to me and decided for me. But then afterwards, something just happened, signs at that night of the night, birds crying out, singing in the morning. The TV, the very station that I put was like it was talking to me when I was sitting down there, downstairs. And then I decided, no, I couldn't do it. I saw my kids lying in bed, two of them so innocently, and I couldn't. So I decided to sort myself out. I went from a retreat for a while, a silent retreat, and then from that I went to a proper retreat in Kent, where they have a church there where you have other therapists there. And I cried so much. I cried for the whole world. I cried so much. I've read one of the book of Inyala Iverson that she said yesterday I cried. And that book resonated with me because I cried floods and floods of tears about my past and my present and decided to heal myself. And from there, I came back. I renewed everything about myself. I deleted the number of people on my phone. I continued reading. I've always been a reader. I read quite a lot of books. I make sure every month I buy a book and something that has to do with self-help, whether you believe it or not, but some of the books are very helpful. Something to do with somebody who is done something in the world, who has changed the world. So I buy them secondhand on Amazon or in bookshops. So I read a book almost every month. And that really helped me in a lot of other ways. So reading the books, concentrating on others, and also doing my studies at the same time. It was difficult doing my studies where I was doing a master's in politics and trying to do everything at the same time. But the university was very understanding when I did even my social work. I'll spend time at home and they'll send me the lectures. But I sorted myself mentally. And most of the things, why I'm emphasizing on this story is that most of the things that affect from us mostly, it's the mind. The mind does play up. We carry a lot of weight and we tend not to find something to help us. And we shy away from things that are happening from us, or we close them in the closet. But at the end of the day, behind the lipstick, behind the high heels, behind the beauty, there's always a closet that has got dirty linen and lots of broken bits. But we just have to deal with those things and get to understand that if we do try and clear our mind of clutter, somehow, some way, we can get a vision of anything that is happening and not carry so much weight. Sometimes as women, we carry so much weight. The problems of others are ours. The problems of things that are happening, we are problem solvers. And that's very touching that we do that. But we should also try and look after ourselves very much. We have to fill our cup and always go on and live in a better, healthy life and look after our minds and bodies also. So before I leave you, I'll just read you something which has been written about immigrants. All immigrants are artists. Trying to start a life in a strange land is an artistic feat of the highest order, one that ranks with or perhaps above our greatest cultural achievements. Recreating your entire life is a form of reinvention. On par with the greatest works of literature. That experience of touching down in a total foreign place is like having a blank canvas. You begin with nothing, but stroke by stroke you build a life. This process requires everything great art requires: risk-taking, hope, a great deal of imagination, all the qualities that are the building blocks of art. You must be able to dream something nearly impossible and toil to bring it into existence by Edwidge Danticat. This is true of all of immigrant. I'm a refugee myself in the UK. So I hope this book, if you have to buy it, which is already on Amazon, blesses you. And it has a story that all is not bad. It ended up well. I'm now doing my PhD in my second year. My kids have finished their university. They are all grown up and working. One is finishing next year. She's on a placement study, and Michelle is working, finished her master's in Amsterdam. And I'm now married to a lovely husband where love heals everything, Wayne. So thank you very much. Peace to the world, and keep doing the hard work you're doing. Thank you. Bye.